All right, welcome back. So hopefully you learned a little bit yesterday, and today's going to be much more in depth. Today's going to be very, very practical. Today's going to give you some really great information, stuff that you may search all over the internet for, and try and compile. I just put it all in one place for you. So hopefully it's very helpful. Hopefully you got your first workout in and got that out of the way as well off this program. So today we're going to talk about the nutrition hierarchy that I referenced the other day. We're also going to talk about macronutrients, calories, and types of diets and how all of those things work together. I have a lot of people that tell me, yeah, I tried keto, I tried this, I tried that, and then the follow-up question is always, do you know what macros are? And they say, no. I'm like, well, then you definitely weren't doing any of those diets, because if you don't know that, there's absolutely no way you could have controlled any of those variables. So you're going to learn those things today. Nutrition hierarchy being the biggest thing. And it's a thing that is so simple. Once you hear it, you'll be like, oh, that's not exactly profound. So you'll believe that it's not, not true, or there's something else out there that is going to be, mind-blowing. That's the secret and the trick. It's not. This stuff is science. I don't do tricks and hacks and tips and all this stuff. I do data and stuff that works, because I have too many people that I coach and that our coaches coach to mess around with trying to figure out if a trick or a hack's going to work. We read from medical journals and journals of science. That is it. So, and I can promise you, out of the last decade that I've been reading from those things, this has never once changed. It's only ever been reinforced. So take this as truth and law, okay? So why does this matter? So if you do this backwards, you'll do all the effort, you'll do all the work, but you'll get no results. And that sucks. And sometimes people do that and they'll say, your program didn't work. It's like, no, you did it upside down. You took good information and you did it wrong, right? So we want to prevent that from happening today. So it's also going to help you keep you from falling into a lot of these like BS diets and these fads and stuff. Because once you learn this, you can see straight through it. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. If this is true, then that doesn't make sense, right? So we're going to go into that in depth here. I have my notes here. I hope you have something to take notes with as well. So let's talk about the nutrition hierarchy. So if you imagine with me a little triangle here of sorts, at the base of that triangle, we're talking about fat loss, and this is pretty much almost exactly true for muscle building and health as well. It's pretty universal. The first and foremost thing that matters is the amount of calories that you eat. You have to eat the right amount of calories on average. That is your energy balance. That is a law of thermodynamics, okay? There is absolutely no way you can outdo that. Period. Doesn't matter what macros you eat, doesn't matter how healthy you eat. If you eat super healthy, you eat nothing but berries and vegetables and meat, and you eat 6,000 calories of those a day, guess what's going to happen? You're going to gain a lot of body fat, right? Conversely, if you eat nothing but ice cream and protein shakes and junk, and you eat the right amount of calories, under your maintenance calories, guess what will happen? You'll lose body fat. People don't believe me when I say that. I say go try it. I actually competed way back when. I competed with a fellow. He was from Cleveland, and he literally ate nothing but like cornflakes, pasta, and protein. Like his protein was protein shakes. That was it. And he ate junk, and he looked incredible, absolutely incredible. Did he feel good? Probably not. Was his digestion good? No. Was his health good? Probably not. Right? So this is where our physique and our health can be two different things. Okay? So this is going to make more sense as we go along. Right. So what is right after calories? So let's say you get your calories dialed in. There's an extra differentiation of where your calories come from. Now, I'm not talking about your food source, okay? People get these two things confused. They think that a carbohydrate is a food. A carbohydrate is not a food. It's something we get from food. They think that protein is a food. They think of steak, chicken, fish, eggs. Those are foods. That's a food choice that has different macronutrients in them. They are not a protein. It's a protein source. Please differentiate those two things in your mind. It will serve you going forward. Now, there's also fats. Those three things that I just mentioned are your three macronutrients. Macro meaning calorie-containing nutrients versus things like vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin B12, whatever. Those don't contain calories, meaning if we get all the vitamin A in the world, we will not have enough energy, ATP, broken down in our body in its purest form to carry out cellular processes. And remember biology class, right? You're not going to have those things. So we have to have macronutrients. So protein and fat being the two essential macronutrients, meaning that our body can synthesize everything it needs from those two things. We do not have to have carbohydrates. So that should let you know that protein and fat requirement is very, very important. Carbohydrate can be very, very helpful. Doesn't mean it's evil, doesn't mean it's bad, but it is not essential. Okay. So macronutrients, protein, fat, and almost said fiber and greens. We're going to talk about what that is in a little bit. Protein, fat, and carbohydrate. Those are your three macronutrients. Alcohol is technically a macronutrient, but it just breaks down to sugar. And also, we're not going to try to include a lot of that in our diet. So actually, we'll cover alcohol as well. So you have your calories, right? And then you have your macronutrients. So where are those calories going to go to? What is going to be riding on those calories? Are we going to get amino acids, protein? Are we going to get fatty acids to make hormones and build cell walls and be healthy from fat? Are we going to get glucose and energy for cellular processes, right? We get a calorie is a calorie, but what is coming with those calories when we consume it? That depends on your macronutrients. So you eat more protein, you're gonna have more amino acids around. You eat more fat, you're gonna have more fatty acids around. You eat more carbohydrate, you're gonna have more glucose for energy around. Now I could go super in depth with those. I'm gonna save that for you because this isn't a nutrition class. But just know that you need a lot of protein. You have a protein requirement. When we talk about hunger stopping meals next week, you're going to see how vitally important protein actually is. But here's the thing, you eat the right macros, right? The right ratio, I should say, because you can't eat the right macros per gram and get the wrong calories because your calories are coming from your macros. So protein, 1 gram of protein has 4 calories, right? 4 units of heat is what that is. So you yield that much output and burn for every 1 gram of protein. Same for carbohydrate. 1 gram of carbohydrate will yield you 4 calories. 1 gram of fat will yield you 9 calories. It's just denser. Doesn't make it worse. Doesn't mean it has more calories. It means if you eat 2 grams of fat, then you're gonna feel just as full as if you ate 1 gram or 4 grams of protein or carbohydrate. Right? It's just denser. Nothing wrong with that. So if you get the gram for gram requirement correct, you also get the calories correct. Some people will do some funny stuff and say ratios. This is why this is so dumb. When people say, yeah, you gotta have the right macro ratio. It's like, really? Because what if I have 17,000 calories, but it's still 30, 30, 30, or 33.3 repeating, and they're all even, and there's a perfect ratio? I'm gonna gain a lot of weight, right? Or vice versa, if I eat too little, but the ratio is perfect. That doesn't make any sense, okay? So you can get the ratio right, but the calories wrong, but it's kind of hard to mess those two things up. Now, at this point in the hierarchy, we could still be getting our carbohydrate from Pop-Tarts, and we could still get all of our protein from protein shakes, right? So you're probably guessing what is the next step. And step number 3 in the hierarchy is going to be your food sources. Where are these foods coming from? Okay, so these 3 are really what we want to see happen. But this is what most people do. They say, I've been eating healthy. I've been making the best food choices. But they're eating too many calories or too few calories, or they're eating all fat and carbohydrate, no protein, and they're hungry all the time. It's causing them to overeat, right? They did things in the wrong order. They started up here and they need to start down here. And really, we like to do all 3 of these at once. And there's kind of some buffer there with how perfect you have to be, but calories got to be on point. Macros, really going to be helpful. Food choice, probably 80% of the way there, right? So we get more and more lenient as we go, but the higher up and the more perfect, I don't want to say perfect, but the better you do in aligning your goals, the higher up you go in this, the healthier you're going to become, the faster your results are going to come, okay? So the next part is going to be food quality, okay? This is the next to last one. So I thought you just said food choice. Food choice and food quality are 2 different things. So we have the right calories, we have the right macros, and we're getting our protein from steak now, and red meats and eggs with plenty of healthy cholesterol in them. I love saying that. I love saying red meat and healthy cholesterol because everybody thinks it's bad for you, and that's stupid. I get fired up about this stuff. But, listen to your doctor if you have a medical condition. But if you're a normal, healthy person, eat eggs and red meat, please. It's going to be really good for you. But you could be doing all of those things, but it's a caged chicken who's laying that egg versus a pasture-raised chicken, right? Very, very different. Cage-free doesn't always mean what you think it does. It's going to be pasture-raised. It can be grass-fed, even grass-fed grain-finished, totally fine. It's going to be better than just pure feedlot cows. Now, is that going to be better for you than, some plant-based protein powder? Yeah, I'm still going to lean towards the whole food, always towards whole food. But you can get better quality foods, fruits, probably need to be organic. And if Lord please, wash them with a little bit of baking soda and just a drop of apple cider vinegar, get those pesticides out of there. This causes cancer and causes all these terrible things, okay? And that's evidence-based. It's not Chase saying that. Organic fruits, and if you want to, organic vegetables, you can do that as well. That's food quality, right? But what does everybody do? I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to eat all organic and eat way too many calories, and then you still don't lose weight, and you say, I tried eating healthy, it didn't work. No, you did the wrong thing. You did the right thing in the wrong order, right? And the last thing is nutrient timing. It's at the top because it's the least important to your goals. Doesn't mean it's not powerful, it's not helpful, but nutrient timing being things like you got to have a protein shake right after you work out, right? You got to have no carbohydrates in the morning, all for the evening time. Now you're getting into like biohacking. You're getting into this stuff where I'm taking cold plunges and getting red light and doing breathing exercises in the sun. Dude, it works. This stuff works, but it is not the most important thing. Do all those things, eat the wrong amount of calories, not going to be very successful. So that is the nutrition hierarchy. Okay, this is law. You cannot get away from this. So very quickly, I'm going to run through a little bit more just about types of diets and some ways to kind of put this into practice for yourself. I hope you took notes on that because it's going to be very, very helpful to get that into your brain. So next up, types of diets. So if you look at keto, what is keto? It is eliminating carbohydrates, right? You're going to get rid of breads, you're going to get rid of pasta, you're going to get rid of fruit juice, you're going to get rid of anything that contains carbohydrate. By the way, I'm going to tell you how to track these things in a second. And now you're on a carb-free diet. It's not a high-fat diet. I have a lot of pet peeves if you can't tell. It's never you. It's the fitness industry that says dumb stuff. It's never the consumer. But it's not a high-fat diet. Ketogenesis happens in the absence of carbohydrates, not in the presence of high amounts of fat. So all that's doing is lowering your calories, changing your macros, and hopefully you're going to eat because you don't have any other choice. Hopefully, people find ways around it, but you're eating more meats and eggs and things like that, and berries and things that are low glycemic and all that cool stuff. Same thing with paleo. What does paleo do? It's going to eliminate all the processed stuff in your life so that you're tuning into your natural hunger cues, which by nature will drive your calories down and get your macros right. Still calories and macros, okay? Still the same thing. And food choices in that regard, which is paleo is pretty good. Carnivore, hyper restrictive, works really well. What does it do? It takes care of your food choice, your food quality, your calories, and your macros, right? That's why it's so powerful. Really hard to do. Don't recommend it for everybody. Probably not great for all people, but very, very powerful because it knocks out a lot of those things on that hierarchy. But you can do carnivore diet and eat way too much food, or just be like, oh, well, I just have one milkshake, and you have a 3,000 calorie milkshake on the weekends. You're like, but it was only one. It's like, that doesn't matter. Math says you're over on your average weekly calories, right? So you can see where types of diets can fit into this nutrition hierarchy. So I just mentioned average calories. Actually, let me back up a little bit. I have one more note here. I kind of mentioned this before, but there's a difference between healthy and fat loss. So if you start at the top and work your way down, you're going to get healthier. If you start at the bottom and work your way up, you're going to lose body fat. Preferably, you do steps 1 through 3 at the same time and slowly ascend up. And we always do things with your health in mind. I'm never going to tell you like, hey, if it fits your macros, bro, eat Pop-Tarts and protein shakes and you can eat whatever you want as long as it fits your macros. I'll never do that, right? It works. It does work for your physique. Destroys your health. Don't love that, right? So those two things are different, but they should be the same. They should be the same. And until modern times, we never had this issue. So average calories per week versus daily calories. This really screws people up. Look at your weekly average calories. When I do an assessment, if you're my client and I'm looking at your calorie intake for the week, I'm going to look at your weekly average. And if you're not tracking on Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to say this data is useless to me. Because what is this? This is your Monday through Friday calories, but unless you died and came back to life over the weekend, this isn't a complete picture. So don't just look at daily calories. You got to look at weekly calories, because what could happen, great Monday through Friday, and then on the weekend you eat 17,000 calories in total, and now your average just went through the roof. So you're like, I did so good for 5 days. I only did bad for 2 days. That's math, right? No, that's not how that works. Your body doesn't count number of days and check marks. and say, okay, I'll lose body fat now. Yeah, okay. Not how that works. So look at your weekly average calories. Track every day. I want to get into it now, but we're going to get into food guilt a little bit later and talking about eating on the weekends and how to help you with that. If you want to know more about macros, that takes care of calories. If you want to know more about macros, I mentioned yesterday how much protein you should have. We are going to next week get into this much more in depth about why this is important. But a gram of protein per centimeter of height, I don't like grams per pound because one, it's a range and it's confusing, and two, I can't tell if maybe you're obese, if you're really, really lean, if where you're at and that, because that can affect that. So 1 gram per centimeter of height. Shoot for that on average, right? Some days maybe higher, some days maybe lower, but on average, you're gonna get that. Protein and the right amount of calories, okay? Don't care how much fat you eat, don't care how much carbohydrate you eat, because remember, our calories come from our macronutrients. So we start with our protein. You'll see how this works when we meal prep in a couple weeks. Start with our protein, and then carbs and fats, the rest of the calories left over here. Any ratio you want. Do what you want. Do what's easy. Do what feels good. Do different stuff on different days. Don't matter. Protein and calories. That's what we're going to focus on. That's going to help you out a heck of a lot. So how do you keep track of all of this? This is a lot of numbers. It's very overwhelming. First of all, let's take a deep breath through your nose, okay? You're learning. This is a learning process. It's going to be okay. Big deep breath through your nose. How are we going to track all these things? So this is where, modern conveniences like apps can come in handy. Things like MyFitnessPal, super great. The only thing I want to caution you on, if I can catch you early, it'd be really, really helpful. But the only thing I want to caution you on is this is data. This is not an instruction or a rule book, okay? When you see how many grams of protein you're off by the end of the day, if you're off by 10 grams of protein, you can go grab a slice of cheese if you want, but if you're full, don't stuff your body, right? If you're starving, don't deprive yourself of food. Sometimes it's okay to be a little hungry, right? But pay attention more to what this thing is telling you than what this app. If you start living by this app, if you start living by this thing and what this thing tells you to do, you're going to be a slave to this thing. I've seen that turn out very, very badly for a lot of people, okay? So this is data. It doesn't mean anything. It's just data to help you make decisions. That's all that it is. So MyFitnessPal is really great. You have a task probably on there if you haven't already to download that. Super easy to find on all your app stores and all that stuff. But the last part on that is when you start tracking your food, one, look at nutrition labels. Learning all that stuff is a huge learning curve in and of itself, but start tracking your food. Don't go by the goals that MyFitnessPal sets for you. Please ask us. We will help you with that. But with your tracking your food, just weigh everything that you put in your mouth or whatever, or if you can't, give it your best guess. But what I want to say is go for a range, okay? Don't try and be perfect to the gram because that'll drive you insane. Go for a range. I give my clients usually like a 5% variance over or under, and somewhere in there, it's like, hey, that's a check mark. We're not robots, we're humans. We don't live in a lab. That's why we average these things out and smooth these things out over the course of a week, okay? We're not day trading with our food here. So go for an average. So just to review today, so we're going to track these things and we're going to look at our nutrition hierarchy. And above all else, we're going to control our calories first. And then if we can, we're going to get the right macros. We're going to get the right protein, fats, and carbohydrates from there. And then if we can, we're going to try and get those from whole foods. That's where I want you to be. If you can start buying higher quality foods, that's going to be a good thing, right? That's going to be really, really great. And then from there, we're biohacking and you're probably not there yet, but if you are, I love you, and that's cool. That's really cool because I love that sort of thing. So if you have questions, there's probably a question in your brain right now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Either write it down, in best case scenario, put it in the messenger, send it to us. We will answer it for you. Okay? We'll get you a resource. We'll clear up any confusion and we'll get you fixed up. If you have any lack of clarity right now, please go send us a message so that we can get that answer for you. That's all I have. I will be back on, let me tell you. I'm going to tell you exactly. I will be back on week 2, day 1. We're going to talk about hunger stopping meals because hunger is going to be a big issue when we're trying to lose body fat. I'll see you then.